Hello everyone. Nice to see you. Kinda sorta. Wish I could see you. But thank you so much for joining me. This is Lena with Especially Made for Me. We are going to be working on some cupcakes today. So I'm going to be showing you from step 1 through whichever step number. We're going from A through Z. Z as in zebra. My Spanglish must have kicked in, my accent. But we're going to go ahead and make some cute cupcakes. Or at least I'm going to show you how. How to make some cupcakes. Just want to show you some samples first. These are just the newest ones that I've done, the most recent one. And then I did a taller one. And they both have sprinkles. But this one has, I made a little frosting for the top, like a little Cool Whip. And I put a little Easter egg on top. This one has the sprinkles, but instead of putting something on top, I made, it's got some sparklies, some glitter to go on it on top of the sprinkles. But I'm going to show you how I actually did, how I actually came up with all the ingredients, what I did, how I decorated, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and go through the steps and I'll show you. This one I did is one of the ones I still have left for St. Patrick's, and I used different type of sprinkles for this. So I'll show you that as well, just so I can give you some ideas. And I actually don't see it on the table, but I'll tell you where I got these things from. And then I made a lemon one. Isn't this one cute? And I just put the wedge of lemon on there, and I have some sprinkles on it. So I'm going to change the view as I usually do so that you can see everything from the top, so you can have that bird's eye view. And I'm going to go ahead and get to mixing. I haven't actually fully mixed everything with the spackle and the colors and everything that we're going to be using, so that we can do everything from scratch together. And I actually am a little bit behind. I wanted to kind of have something started. And I realized I have my spackle, my light spackling coming in on a regular basis. It's like an automatic thing that I have ordered. So it automatically comes in. I thought it was coming in today. It's not coming till tomorrow. And all I had left is what I still have in my little containers. And I thought I had enough already mixed. And I don't. So I ended up having to go to Home Depot and get another one. So a much smaller one, because I normally get a big bucket. And I'll show you what I have. So I'm going to show you the supplies we'll need. This is light spackling that you're going to be needing for your frosting, your decorating. This one I got at Home Depot. It's the patch and paint. And I'm going to show you the difference between this and the one that I have in my containers, because the one I have in my containers I actually prefer to use. And it's the one that I get online. It's actually this brand. It is the Red Devil. I don't like the name, but it's the Red Devil one-time lightweight spackling. And I get the big bucket because I do a lot more different things. I also use it for my cakes and, you know, the cake pops and all of that. But the one at Home Depot, it is the DAP Patch and Paint. But it just makes sure that whichever brand you get, that it is the lightweight. And you'll be able to tell the difference, because the regular, it's really heavy. When you pick it up, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, that's heavy. This should be very light. You should be able to toss it around like it's nothing, like it's air. So that's how you will know, in case you can't see it, in case it's, because sometimes it rubs off, but it should say lightweight on it. And this is the one that you will use for the cake decorating, doing cupcakes, frosting, decorating cakes, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to need some of that. We are going to need whatever decorating you're going to be using, of course, whether you're going to be using sprinkles, glitter, all of that good stuff. I have some things that I got from the dollar store that you can sprinkle on. These little green things actually came in a little bag at the dollar store, and they had like a variety of different colors. They are very light. It's almost like it's I want to say aluminum, but it's more plasticky, but it's very soft. You could actually bend it. It's not hard at all. And they have it in different colors, but it comes in a little bag, and usually like a set of 3 or 4 different colors come together. So you could use that. You can pretty much use anything. I got these little carrots somewhere. I think it was at Hobby Lobby last year when they were on sale. So I got these because I used them for my snowman, for the snow, for the nose. Snowman for the snow. But I figured with Easter, I know people use a lot of carrots and stuff for Easter, and I got these also, I think, at the dollar store. Can't remember. So it was only $1, but they had them in different sizes as well. And then of course I make my own little sprinkles. that I'm still cutting, so I haven't gotten to cut all of it, so we'll probably use something else other than the ones that I made, and then I'll do show how I make those in another video. So we're going to need that as far as supplies go. Of course, you're going to need some cupcake liners, whatever theme or color of your choosing for what we're going to be doing. We're going to need a, I prefer to use, you don't have to, but I prefer to use a muffin pan, just because it kind of keeps everything together so it doesn't expand. And I'll show you what I mean by that, because the spray expands. So you're going to need one of these. It is a Gaps and Cracks foam spray from Great Stuff. I like this one better than the others I've used. I've used a couple of different varieties and name brands, but I like this one better. The key is to make sure that you shake, shake, shake. Follow the instructions on the back of it as to how to put everything together on the top. Make sure that you always shake, shake, like it says on the instructions before using it. The more you shake it, the better, because it comes out easier and smoother. So that way your cupcakes can actually come out a little bit better. So for the cupcakes, we only need a little bit of this, and you can just start at the center. So I'm going to do that from the beginning so I can show you how I do mine. And then I'll show you some of my trial and errors from when I first started, and my little progress, so that you can see the reason why we don't use too much of it and what could happen. But really not a big deal. You can still use it if you want to. So let's see, what else do we need? We're going to need something that we can use for mixing. You could use popsicle sticks. You could use a little spatula, a little spoon if you want, just for mixing when you mix the lightweight spackle with your paint to get to the color that you want for what you're going to be making. In this case, we're making the cupcakes. We're also going to need, and if I'm talking too fast, please let me know, because I feel like a little rushed since I didn't have the lightweight spackle like I thought for today, and have to go to the store to get some. I'm feeling a little rushed, so I'm feeling my Spanglish kicking in a little bit. So let me know if I'm talking too fast. Just slow me down, kind of sounding like Speedy Gonzalez. But we're going to need some tips to go with our piping. I use the 1M, and you could use the straight, or you could use the, and I'll show these again on the other camera view so you can view it from the top view camera. But I use definitely the 1Ms. I find they work better. They're a little bit bigger, but you can use of course any kind of, depending on the shapes that you want to make. But with this one, let's see, the straight tip one is what I use for the lemon one, so you could actually see the ridges on it. And I'll show the view again from the other camera. And then I used the one that's a little bit curved, and forgive me, I'm not an expert cake decorator, so I don't know about the different names. This one is it says it's a 2D, and this one is the one that's got, it's basically the same as that one, but the corners, the tips are actually a little bit curved. It's the one that I used to make this one. So depending on the tip that you use, of course you get different shapes, so take some practicing depending on the look that you want it to have. But definitely make sure that you get the big tips. So let's see, you're gonna need, of course, some piping bags. I got these at Hobby Lobby, can't remember when. They were having a 50 or 60% off sale of everything in their baking and cake area, candy making area. So I kind of took advantage and I got a few of these bags. I can't remember how many come in each one of these. But anyways, it ended up being just a couple of dollars, and they are disposable. And I just wanted to try them out because they're a little bit thicker. And I don't like using the sandwich bag so much. It's definitely something you can use, but I wanted to try these out because I was using sandwich bags before as well. And I got some from the dollar store, which they work, but they get really, I don't know if it's the chemical on the lightweight or what, but after a while for decorating, once you use them, because I was trying to do a lot at one time, started getting like little holes, and the spackle was coming out throughout the whole piping. So I had to change tactics. But these have worked out very well, and I like that they're clear, because sometimes I'm decorating with more than one different color, so I could go ahead and have them ready, and I can see which color is what without having to, lift it and look at the tip and all that good stuff. So definitely a good way to go with those bags if you can get them. But definitely whatever you use here for the decorating with the fake bakes, please don't use them in the kitchen again. Once you start using these items for doing this, don't use them for anything having to do with food. I don't even, excuse me, I don't even use the kitchen sink to rinse anything out. I go in the patio and I rinse everything out. Just please be careful with that. There's just too many chemicals in these things to be able to mix it with anything that you will be eating. So I use, let's see, I got these also at the same time. I like using these for my piping bags, and I'll show you how they get put together. But basically, so that you can put the piping bag in it and it gets screwed on and it keeps everything tidy. So I'll show you that as well. So I think that's it for, oh, my little, I mentioned cardboard, at least on the bottom of the video. I have a list of different items that you would probably need to make these cupcakes. And I mentioned cardboard and paper clips and whatnot. And it's basically just to add a little bit of weight at the bottom of the cupcake. Because I found with once you add that foam, it starts expanding, and if there isn't anything holding it down, it kind of goes over the top of the liner, and then it kind of goes a little bit flatter and extends out. So it's good to have a little bit of weight at the bottom, so that way it'll have more room to expand upward, and then the muffin pan can kind of keep it in place. So, and I'll show you about that as well. So I'm going to change the view of the camera. Woohoo! Let's see. I want to make sure you can still see me on the corner and see the supplies here on top. So I'm going to move these cutesies out of the way just so that we can get to working. Okay, so I mentioned that I would, let's see, make sure you can still see. Okay, so here is, let me see if maybe with the camera, I don't know if you can see the glitter that well, but let me turn it this way. There's the cupcake for the lemon, just so that you can see more of the, I don't know if you can see some of the sprinkles there on that one. Not sure that you'll be able to see the glitter, but you should still be able to see the sprinkles. Maybe the lighting is not that well. And if you notice here on the edge of the cupcake, there's color on there. I'm going to show you about that as well, because we can definitely have some color to the cupcake if you want the cupcake to show, just like with that one. Okay, so I'm actually gonna, well, let's just move them a little bit. Okay, so we can start our mixing. Move the keyboard out of the way. How are we doing out there? I feel a little anxious myself. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get started here. For the, I'm trying to make sure I can move these over so you can see. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in, I could have, we did a vendor show this weekend and we took pretty much everything I had in here with us, and we haven't unpacked it all, I'm ashamed to say. So I couldn't find my paper clips, I couldn't find different things. So mainly for the circles, all I did was cut some, hi Monica. I cut some cardstock. I mentioned you could use cardboard, which is actually thicker, so it will give you a little bit more weight. Normally when I use these, I just kind of cut them out of some cardstock and put them at the bottom, and then I do the paper clips on top. I found that works better to put a little circle underneath, and I'll tell you why. I didn't do it on these. Let's see, and you can see it kind of wobbles. So having something on the bottom to kind of flatten them if you're going to be displaying them on their own, it's definitely helpful. So having something flat versus having the paper clips on the bottom first, like I did with this one, I can feel the paper clips and forgot my little disc. That'll help with that, so that way it won't wobble, okay? Not a big deal, it still looks cute. But that's just one of the tips there. So the paper clips I just add just for added weight. And I would normally put them right after the disc, but couldn't find them, so we're gonna go with it. I did mention we have to make sure we shake our foam spray. It's our gaps and cracks spray. So I'm going to be holding things over again. I know I showed them earlier, but I want to make sure that you can see what it is, and make sure that it says expands up to 1 inch. Let me see, it's got it right here. Expands up to 1 inch. There's a couple of others out there that don't expand, and they didn't work so well for me. I was trying to find something that didn't expand so much, because I mentioned I was going to show you some of my trial errors. This is one of the ones that I didn't put the weight on it, and I used one of the other spackles and it kind of almost exploded. I don't know if you can see how tall it is, but they got pretty big. Now we can still use them. We just have, you know, we just have to use our imagination, right? So so that is what happens. You put a little bit and it expands up to 1 inch. So we always put just a little bit towards the bottom and let it expand on its own to where it doesn't even get to touch the top of our cupcake liners. That will be the key. So that's what these are. But we're gonna go with it. Wanted to show you the different ways of it. So I cover mine with some aluminum just for air, but so far it hasn't needed. The other ones that I used, I mentioned the other brands that I didn't like, they kept drying up on here, and I had to kind of get little pins and try to get the stuff out. So far with this one, which it hasn't happened. So we're gonna go with it. So that's why I wanted to make sure you saw that brand. So here, this is all we do. Once we have our cup liners and our disc and our little weight, you can use a penny if you want. If you're not going to be selling these, you can put a penny. Just the idea is just to have a little something heavy that'll kind of keep it down. So that way it won't, and I'll start on this one, I guess. Can we, yeah, it's on the camera view. So all we do is just slowly squeeze and do a little bit. Slowly squeeze, go all the way on the bottom. And just put a little bit. Because again, it is going to expand on you for about 1 inch. So that's all we need. You know, try to hold it that way. See how much room there's still left on the top? You will need to let it cure. I always do it, leave it on there for like a day. So tomorrow I'll go ahead and finish the actual cupcakes. So I just let it expand on its own, and then I come back the next day and I start decorating. So I do a whole bunch at a time. I have another muffin pan out there that for the ones that are cured, and then I'll be decorating as we go. But that's pretty much all you do with this. Just a little bit in the middle, start in the middle, center a little bit of the foam, and you let it be, leave it until the next day, and then you go from there. So once it's cured, should be nice and hard. Now if you kind of dent it with something, it'll still dent. Excuse me, it'll you can poke it. I mean, if you put a lot of strength, you can actually pop them. But I'm gonna show you here. I mentioned I used, where's that other? Okay. Oopsie. So these are my first trial and error from back whenever I started making these. And I used this one from, I mentioned earlier, Home Depot. This light spackle, the Adapt Patch and Paint. For some reason, this one, it's a little bit softer than the one I get online. And I'll show you that one again here in a little bit. And this is what happened. Even though it was nice and high when I did the decoration, it droops down. And of course, I was first trying it, so I had no idea. One way to help with when it's a little bit softer then you need is just to add a little bit of flour. But again, that was my first time trying these, so I had no idea. But you can see kind of drooped. It's not as tall as these other ones are. So when using this on its own, I would definitely try to maybe mix it with some flour to kind of make it a little bit thicker. That way it won't droop on you like these did. But that's what could happen if it's a little bit too liquidy, because then as it dries, it doesn't dry too fast. Normally you will let it cure for a little bit, and it can start drooping because of its own weight. So this one, I wanted to show you how I do the coloring like I showed on those other muffins. I mix, let me move some of these things out of the, move them a little bit further up. So for this color to make it look like an actual cake color, I mix these two. It's the light mocha and the nutmeg brown, and I just do a little bit at a time in a, like on the side on a little paper or a little piece of cardboard until I get the color that I want to kind of give it that color. Now normally you don't have to paint these. It's only if you want some of the cupcake to show, like I mentioned on these. You can kind of see a little bit of the cupcake. If you're gonna completely cover it with the decorating with the spackle, you don't have to. See how it kind of shows a little bit there on the corners? That's why I painted these, because I wanted some of that color to show. Now you could do chocolate as well. I used the melted chocolate or the burnt amber, depending on how dark you want your chocolate to be. So I wanted to show you those colors for that. But again, you don't necessarily have to paint them because you can cover it all up. So this one, I just went ahead and did it with that mixture. And I just wanted to show you what it will look like painted, because the other ones I'm not going to paint. So I use, where's my spoon? These are kind of hard to open. So I use, I have this spoon that I use just for my decorating, and it kind of helps to kind of get it started. Because I found after a while of opening these a few times back and forth, my finger was like really sore. So I started using that just to get it opened. Okay, so depending on what how you want to decorate yours, this is the spackle that I have that I actually love, the light spackling, and I'll show you that again because I mentioned it earlier. And depending on when you join me, you might not have seen that container. Sorry, I have some glue over here. Let me show you that first, because that one to me is the perfect texture, perfect weight, and it doesn't droop on me like the other one does. So that's this one here. One time, let's see, it's Red Devil One Time Lightweight Spackling. It's the full brand name on it. So, and I mentioned was completely out, but I knew one was coming. I thought it was coming today, but I checked on my delivery and it's not coming till tomorrow. So I had to go out of Home Depot and get this other one. Now you can see the texture difference. And I'll show you. So what I'm thinking of doing is, so I won't have to be mixing flour, because you could add flour to make it thicker, or if you get it too thick, you can add a little bit of water and mix that in. And then that'll give you you can kind of go back and forth so that you can get the mixture texture that you want. So what I'm going to do here, because I want all three colors, I actually started with my little, hello. I want to do some pink, and I wanted to do some white, and I wanted to do some mint color, like a little, so that's why all of these are out. But these are from the other light spackling. So what I'm thinking is, because unfortunately, since I'm completely out, I'm going to have to figure something out with this white. We'll see if it doesn't droop on us too much. But I'm going to mix some of this with the other, so hopefully that way it won't droop so much since it's mixed. And we'll see. I mean, you can see it's kind of drooping on its own already in the container. This one, when you put it in there, it doesn't move at all. So I am just going to add a little bit, and maybe it'll give us enough just to decorate. And we'll get with our different colors of paint, and we'll start decorating. I normally make these and I leave them in the container. As long as it's sealed, it doesn't dry up on you. You can make them ahead of time, and then just save it for as you go, and that way you don't have to be mixing a whole lot. And we'll see. Key with these, when you seal them back, they kind of pop. If you don't pop them all the way, then air gets in it and it'll dry up on you. You should be able to hear that little click. Just another tip on that, because you don't want to spend the money on this stuff and then can't use it. Okay, so I know this is actually, they say it's white, but to me kind of looks like an off-white, almost like a slight gray. It does say white in the container, but I don't think it's white enough for when I make my icing. So I always add a little bit of white paint to it, just so I can get it to the white that I like. Doesn't take it much, just a little bit. Now to this, with this one being so light, I do add a little bit of the Mod Podge, just to kind of help it stay together. But I found that because it's already so a little bit droopy, this brand, with adding the Mod Podge, I'm basically adding more liquid to it, and then of course it can droop again a little bit more, unless I add the flour, which I didn't bring my flour in here, so I can make it thicker. Which is basically what we do when we make ice cream, by the way. So we'll do that on another video, but to make it the consistency of ice cream, we also add flour. Not white enough for me. Okay. Alrighty, so I go a little bit at a time, especially when I do the color one. I definitely do a little bit at a time. One thing to consider with this is the paint, once it dries, it's actually darker, which is another reason why I want to make sure I add some more white on this. So then we can have our things mixed up in our right colors. And I'm going to add some more of this mint. Now this is what I use for my mint shakes, because I do the shakes as well. And this one is called Spring Green. And these are all from Apple Barrel. You can get these at Walmart for like 50 cents. Some are a little bit more. But this one is Spring Green. And again, it doesn't need much at all. They do dry darker. So and once you get the color you want, the consistency you want, then we can get to the piping and get our tips together so we can start decorating. And I think it's going to work well since I'm mixing it with that other spackle, because it's not drooping on me. Had to test it. I don't want it to droop. Okay, so while I'm continuing to mix here, a couple of things you can do with these. Once they are ready, if you want to use them for hanging, let's say if you're gonna be doing a tree, I know some do, you know, kind of like a Christmas tree, but we might do an Easter tree or a Mardi Gras tree or whatever decorating you're gonna do. If there's some place that you want to actually hang these, when we're making them, you could actually insert the hook while it's still wet, and then in doing that, you can take it out, let it dry all the way, and put a little bit of hot glue, and then insert it back in once it's completely dry. Then you put the hot glue in there and put the hook in and let that dry, and then you can use that for hanging it on your tree. And it's the same for whether it's for the cupcakes or if you do the brownies like I do, or any kind of fake bakes. And for my creators out there, that's also how you can set them up for the wreath making, if you do wreaths and swags and that kind of thing. So I'm just setting up my pipe cleaner here, and I probably should do one color at a time here before things dry up on me, but I'm all excited. Not off the, I think my camera got off centered or something. You're not seeing me doing certain things. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover this one up for now. And get it out of the way. Okay. So my tip for this is just turning it over like so. I like having the bag come pretty much almost all the way down on my hands and leaving that plastic out just so that I can fill it there first, and then I can go upward. This also helps with covering your hand as you're going, and then you can move it up as you need to. This is also another reason why I said to have like a wet napkin, or like I do sometimes when I'm done, I just kind of throw all my tips in there, so that way nothing dries up too fast on me. So, but I like having a little bit of a wet napkin in case I do get anything on my hands. You can take care of it that way. So here we go. We'll see how we do with just the droopy one. And I just kind of start filling it in and pushing down as I'm getting it in there, just so that I can get as much as I can to work out all the air. Because I've noticed when I first started doing this, I just kind of started just putting it on there and, you know, didn't give it much of a thought. And then I got all the way to the top, and then there was air built up, and then I was trying to decorate to do it on my cakes, you know, the cupcakes, and it would be popping all over the place, and there would be it would just kind of be a little bit of a mess, and it wasn't as controlled, so I couldn't get the shapes that I wanted and that kind of thing. So lesson learned. So I try to kind of go a little bit at a time. And I mentioned normally for this we already have them set up and ready, but I wanted to show you how I did it. So I just basically go around and press on it as I go, and then move up a little bit at a time. Makes it a little bit easier, and that way, this way I can use my fingers to kind of clear up the spatula and be able to push more of that, our fake frosting, down onto the piping bag so I can feel it a little bit more, because these are not that big. Okay, another tip here would be not to go up too high, because you want to be able to close it at the top of it to then be able to apply some pressure. Excuse me. So right now I'm just trying to fill it without going further up. And if you have some left in your container, again, as long as you seal it airtight, it's just perfectly fine. I actually always leave some in mine, and I try to kind of prepare for my next my next creation, and I just leave it in the container and make some more, and that way it's ready, and that's one less thing that I have to do. So then we just push up. And then we just want to make sure that it's gone all the way to the bottom. See, it's coming out already without much pressure. Okay, let's see if you can see that. And I normally just give it a little twist just to kind of have it a little bit more controlled, and then we can start decorating. Okay, so I'm going to start with this other one that I've already have painted, just so I can show you. Okay, and all I do, I just hold it, and we're just going to go to decorating. On this one, since it's painted, I'm going to just go a little bit before the edge so we can see some of our cupcake, and all we do is just go the way around. Another tip with this decorating, I found that holding the piping straight up and down helps to give you a little bit more of that height. And then when you get to the middle, squeeze some more in there to kind of give it some more of that. And there it is. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let me put this over here. While it's still wet is when I do the decorating. So if we're going to use glitter, for example, if we're going to do any kind of, where's my other glitter? I'm going to show you with the glitter here. So that way it'll go ahead and stick while it's still wet. Otherwise, you would have to definitely use some Mod Podge and then do the decorating. Now I leave the little insert on my glitter there. Okay, so you can use, of course, depending on your theme, whatever kind of glitter you may want to use, or if you want to use some with color. I have a whole bunch of them, and I'll show you to you. And you just sprinkle around, just a little sprinkle. Kind of gives it a little bit of a sparkle. I don't know if you can see it too well. I need something with color. Let's see. Here we go. So it's kind of holding its shape a little bit better. But there is with the glitter. You could put a topping on it. Kind of going, I know we're done with Valentine's, but that's basically all it is. Quick and easy. We've already made a cupcake. And again, it's just making sure that you let it cure, put it to the side, then the next day you can decorate. Now when it's like this, while it's drying, I like putting it in the muffin pan just to make sure that it doesn't go topsy-turvy and goes all over the place. I did that with one before and it went all over the place. So we don't want to do that. Okay, another tip, if you use the glitter, I like having something on the bottom of where I'm going to be sprinkling it, just so I can hold that extra glitter that falls over, and then it makes it easier for putting it back in your container. Just for saving of your glitter. Lots of different things to do. So I'm going to show you. Doesn't have to be a certain particular kind of glitter. I have a whole bunch of different ones here. You can use different colors, again, depending on your theme. They have a whole bunch of them at the dollar store, depending on how fine or ultra fine, or if you want it to show a little bit more, kind of like the ones that I did for the St. Patrick's, where you can see the glitter a little bit more. It's entirely up to you, depending on the theme that you're trying to go with. Okay, so continuing on, I'm going to do different colors here. So we're going to do another. I'm going to put these away. Just get it out of the way here. Okay, so we're going to do different colors. We're going to go ahead and do another white one, just because we already have this here. Okay, same concept. I'm going to go ahead and get these closer to me just so I can. Now with this one, we didn't paint it, so we're going to cover the whole thing. So we can go all the way around to make sure it's fully covered. Of course, if you paint it, you don't have to worry about that. Now this is with the straight tip 1M. Okay. And there's that one. Let's see, let's do something different with this one. Now you could always do glitter and still do sprinkles or anything for topping, if you want to do both. These are very light. These you could also get at the dollar store. You could put as little or as much as you'd like. Make it fun. Okay, then once you're done, just put it to the side and let it dry. Again, I normally leave mine till the next day. But I do like putting them on the muffin pan because that kind of keeps it all together. Get off my finger. There we go. So this is why I said having a wet napkin around would help. Because it does get on you from time to time. Okay. And I should have had that white thing underneath, but hey, we could just put them back on there. It just helps to have something like a piece of paper or something underneath where you're decorating, because then whatever you're using for decorating, if it gets all over, makes it easier for you to be able to put it back. So no matter, I'm gonna just, if I can't pick them all up now, I'll just leave them there for next time. And I can do that off video. So that's another option. Okay, just wanted to show a little bit of different decorating, different options. Here's the pink. I think I'm gonna leave it and not add any more pink and go a little bit lighter to make it a little bit different. Okay, mixing just like with anything else, just doing some mixing. And we're going to do another piping. Let's see, get another bag. This one I'm going to change the tip so that you can see the other option for the tip. Instead of using another straight tip, I'm going to go with this one. This one is the 2D. Looks like it's time for new scissors. Go away. Okay. Okay, so once we have our tip in there, we can just get it in the bag. Get it secured. I do sell these. I actually took them to the vendor show we had this weekend. They were very popular. I need to actually put them on the Etsy shop. I haven't put them on the Etsy shop yet. But I do. Same thing for the brownies. Okay, so same process here. We're just going to go ahead and get this filled. And as we go, we can move on up. And I just kind of push down on it again, just to kind of help with the air buildup. Making sure it's filled all the way. But you could always push down on it from the top. Just make sure that it goes all the way down when you do it that way, because sometimes it doesn't. I do use regular cupcake liners. I've used some of the silicone ones. They have these cardboard ones as well, which kind of helps with the weight, but I haven't used those yet. So do the silicone ones. But again, you know, they do cost a little bit more. So if you're going for saving on cost, so that if you're going to be selling them, so you can pass some of those savings to the customers. Or if you're just making them for yourself, for decorating, for a coffee table type thing, you know, coffee station. It's just for decorating around the home, then why not? But yes, these are all that I've used so far. These that are here in front of us right now, they're all paper. Okay, so I'm just going to start pushing down a little bit just to make sure I have it on the tip. Okay, so here we go. We can go, gonna do one straight through, and then I'm going to show you how I did the decoration on the other one. I think we have enough for both. If not, I'll show you on this one. Again, covering it all the way up, all the way on the bottom, since we didn't paint this one. So if you do want the cake part to show, I would definitely recommend doing the painting. Okay, so there's that one. Now to make that the little spiky look, what I did was, and I'll do it on this other one. Well, I kind of want to have another one for decorating with the lime, but we'll see. I'll show you on this one. I still did go up and down, but I just mashed it in. I don't know if you can. So that's what gives it that little bit of texture. Just kind of went down, up and down with it, and put a little bit of the pressure as I went around. So it gives it kind of like those other ones that I have up front. Now I mentioned about decorating while it's still wet. So depending again if you want to use glitter, if you want to use sprinkles or what have you, this is the point when to do it. So let's see, I started with this one first. I'm gonna do this one. Now these are the sprinkles that I actually made. They're a little bit forgot what that stuff is called. They're a little bit harder, so it's better to put them at the beginning, and then you still have to follow it up with maybe some Mod Podge to kind of help them to stick. And I'll move that one over. Now you could use the little eggs. Again, it depends on what you want to use for decoration. Add a pop of color. You could just kind of stick that on right on the top. Do more than one. See, I knew I wanted to use more than one. You can use this more than one just to add some more color. And I did it again. I just put my finger in there, my little fingernail. Okay. So, going to put this in the water. Do I have another one in there? I do. Okay. Let me know if any questions. I'm just kind of giving ideas for decorating. You could do the carrots. I get these strawberries, what I use for my strawberry cake. But you could also use these fake fruits. Excuse me, to go on top of your cupcakes. The limes, kind of like I did with this one. They have lime wedges and slices that you can use for the decoration, or you can use actual cupcake toppers, kind of like we did with the St. Patrick one or the Valentine's Day one. Pretty much anything goes. There's no, it depends on what look you're trying to accomplish. And again, to be able to, thank you, to make sure that you can hang it if you want to use them for like a special tree for a special event or holiday, or for your wreaths or swags. You can do the hooks on them while they're wet. Just insert the hook so that way you'll have the hole, and then just take it out. And once it dries, you could put a little bit of hot glue on the hooks and then insert them back in. That'll make sure that they stay on. Just let it dry after you put the hot glue because of the weight, since it's going to be hanging, and that'll give you a little bit more strength for hanging. Alright, I'm going to do one more so we can do multiple colors. And let's see, let me get one of my other. Do I have a blue one out? I already have a blue one. Okay. Ta-da. We'll do a multiple color one. We'll see how. Just for giggles. It does pay to have more than one of these sets if you're going to be doing multiple things at once. So I definitely would recommend that. And again, these I got at the Hobby Lobby. They're disposable ones, but you could use the large freezer bags. I don't recommend the regular sandwich bags, but the large freezer bags, since they're thicker, because the chemical tends to have a reaction with the thinner ones with the bags, and you may have little holes and it may just get all undone. And we don't want that when we're working on decorating. I had that mess happen. Okay. One more. And let me know if you need me to show you any of these supplies that we got, or anything with the light spackle, so you know which ones to get, or with the foam. I think I listed everything on the bottom of the video, but just in case. This is your first time with me, please let me know if you like this video by giving me thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and even ring the doorbell, ring that little bell rather, because that'll notify you when I'm going live, or when I'm doing any uploads or premieres. You'll be notified of those as well. Okay, here we go. Gonna go straight with this one. If it stays, I like holding it. It makes me nervous when I don't hold it. All right, here we go, mixing the colors. Just crazy like that. See if we have enough to make another pink, and we'll do the yay, go with green on top. Okay, so that's one way you can do the mixture of the colors, and I'm going to do more glitter on this one. Another way is to actually put all the colors in the piping, and you can kind of put them kind of like alongside it the long way, so that way you could have all three colors in. And that's another way of putting it in. Or you could just put a little bit of paint of the different colors that you want to use, and then do the spackle. That gives you that little, oops, that little bit of color throughout. So we're gonna sprinkle some glitter on this one, and I kind of like the way it looks just as it is. Let's see if I can, really wish you could see the glitter. But it looks very cute with the glitter. Can't see the glitter too much on the video, that from what I can tell on the camera. But there it is. Just different ways of making the cupcakes and to decorate. And again, you can pretty much use anything for decorating these. And I like being able to use them, you know, like I mentioned, with the trees or centerpieces. wreaths, swags. It's just a matter of setting up the hooks if you're gonna hang them. Now you could also do those like little sticks, because remember I mentioned on the foam you could actually puncture it. So if you actually puncture it on the bottom of it, you could puncture it and then do some hot glue, and then that could be part of your centerpiece if you use do centerpieces. Ah, thank you, Monica. So I hope you enjoyed this. They're just something cute to do, something different. And I put them so you can see some of them. I think you could see them in the front though. I think this one might be one of my favorites so far. With all the different colors. I like the different colors. So, any questions on anything? Want to make sure we'll give you time for questions. If let me change the camera view again. Yay! Let's see. Can you see the glitter better on that one? No. I was hoping we could. Okay, so this is it for the cupcakes. Fairly easy, very quick. It goes very quick. If you do a few of them, like I mentioned, just kind of do the foam, spray it down, leave it there for 24 hours. Just kind of do them a whole bunch at a time. If you want to make quite a few different ones, put your liners in there, leave it there for until the next day, and then you could go ahead and decorate a whole bunch of them at the same time. It makes it a little bit easier than to try to do just one color at a time, and it makes it more fun. At least for me it does. So but do remember, if you're going to get this lightweight spackle, you may need to add some flour to it if you don't mix it with another spackle that's a little bit thicker, like I did today, to make sure it doesn't droop, because it will droop on you. I did kind of show that earlier from my first beginnings. This is what I was using, and these at Home Depot, they're like $7 and change, these small ones. You can get these online, the brand that I like, because it's a little bit thicker, for like, I think it's about $12-13 for this big bucket. So I mean, that's a big difference. And then on top of that, it's a little bit thicker, and it's got just the perfect texture. You don't have to worry about mixing it with flour or adding water or what have you. So definitely recommend that one. But that's about it for the tips, I think, that I can think of. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's see, foam. Let's see, let me show you the foam. It's already starting to grow. Let me change the camera view so you can see that a little bit better. Okay, so see, it's just a little bit. This one's already starting to grow more than the others. I just did like maybe that much at the bottom in the center, and it's already starting to grow. And that was at the beginning of the video, which wasn't that long ago, too long ago. But then it'll grow. If you do, there was one time I wanted to see if it would expand. That's what these are. I did almost all the way to the top of the cupcake liner, and that's how much it grew. Let me hold it this way so you can see. So see, it does grow about an inch above what you pour. So it's better to start very easy on the bottom and in the center, so that way, because look how high it is. It's very high, and then because of the pressure, it kind of expands on your cake liner, so then it makes it really bubbly. But still, I mean, we were able to use it. I mean, you can still do that, but just one other tips there. It's better to use a little bit in the center, let it expand. If you need to use a little bit more, you can, but once you go over, then you know, there's not much you can do afterwards once it dries. But yes, just a little bit goes a long way. And just let it cure overnight. That way you can see how much it's for the growth, and make sure that it's fully dry. Good question, good question. Alrighty. Okay. Well, I guess until next time, we'll see what we'll make next time. If there's anything you want to see being made, let me know. Send me a comment. Put a comment on the video, and we can see what we can do. We'll probably, still undecided if I'm going to go ahead and do florals. I think I'm going to do florals next week, and then kind of keep changing it up a little bit at a time. But we'll see. We may not do the florals. It might change between now and then, unless someone wants to see something in particular. But we'll be back on Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we hope to see you again here then. And if anything between now and then, any questions, again, just leave it on the comments. We can make sure we address any questions, or if there's something, again, that you want to see. And we'll see you again next time. Stay safe until then, and stay liquid. Bye-bye.